This is a head cannon. Circus abduction.
All right, Musha,
Welcome everybody to the Gladiator Cypher podcast. I'm your host, Jason. I'm here with my people, my crew, my folks, my fam. We got Chris, we got Nip. We got a huge show, so we're going to jump right into it. We're going to be reviewing Taylor Swift, Kid Cudi. Who else we got on tap, guys? We got Q. We got Boldy. We got Chris Cornell. We got, what else do we got on? Jack Harlow. Tiffany Nicole, who was, I guess, last week. I mean, we are just going to be all over the place today. So without further ado, we're just going to jump right into it. But before we do that, make sure you check us out and join the circus. Subscribe, follow us in all places that you find Head Cannon Circus. This is what the show is under, and we have some other shows under Head Cannon. But again, Head Cannon Circus on Instagram. Join the circus. All right, Chris, let's throw it to you, brother. What's going on? What you have on your slate this week?
All right, what's up, peoples? This week we had Man on the Moon 3, The Chosen by the one and only Kid Cudi. Going into some of the details here. Features on the album include Trippie Redd, Skepta, Pop Smoke, rest in peace, as well as Phoebe Bridgers. This project is 18 tracks and it's got a 58-minute runtime. I'm going to get into my favorite song off the project. My number one favorite had to be Dive. And I had a strong runner-up to that, too. The next one was Show Out, which features Pop Smoke and Skepta from across the pond. Yep, and then my least favorite on the project had to be Loving Me, featuring Phoebe Bridgers.
I had a question for you there, Chris. I'm looking through the features, right? What are those features again?
So we got Trippie Redd, Skepta, Pop Smoke, and Phoebe Bridgers.
But not Travis Scott?
No, not at all.
Oh,
not at all.
His ad libs was damn sure all through the goddamn album.
Hey, look here, man. Let Chris finish.
Look at here.
Yeah. I understand you on the Knob Creek. Let Chris finish.
No, and we can get into that too, but just overall about the album. I'm a huge Kid Cudi fan. I've been listening to him since the first Man on the Moon came out. I used to play that nonstop back in college. So this was a welcome surprise to see on my feed last Friday. I think you get a good mix of vintage Cudi with a little bit more upbeat tunes towards the front of the project, especially a little bit departure from what you're normally hearing them on with that Show Out track featuring Pop Smoke and Skepta. That was a nice change of pace. Pretty much all the features were great. Trippie Redd was good. I was wondering when I saw the album if Trippie would be on it because he really borrows heavily from Kid Cudi's sound. If you listen to Trippie Redd, like how he raps and stuff, it's very melodic, and some of those long drawn out notes that Cudi's famous for, the hums and stuff. I think Trippie borrows from that, so it was good seeing him on the album. I enjoyed that song also. The Phoebe Bridgers feature, I'm not really familiar with her music, so I didn't really enjoy her verse that much. But the song, it was still okay. I didn't hate it overall. But I would say this is definitely a good project to hear from Cudi. I wasn't a huge fan of his last project. I couldn't even tell you a track off the project if I tried to bring it to my head. The one I think Kanye was featured on it came out maybe 2018.
Oh, Kids See Time?
Yeah. So this was a good kind of return to form for me. I'm hoping he can release more music like this a little bit more regularly, as we've seen him with a few features over the past couple of years. I know he had that one with Eminem. It's like The Martian and Slim Shady or something like that, and he was on Meet the Scotts with Travis Scott. So there you go, bring it back to that Travis Scott comment by Nip. I don't really think, it's similar to Travis's ad-lib. I'll give you that.
Before you even get up in there, what we rating it? Because I feel like you dancing now. Like you ain't really dropped us with a rating here.
Oh no,
I'm waiting on this rating.
I'll definitely give it. I'm gonna give it a 4 4.25.
Whoa!
I'm gonna give it a 4.25.
Okay.
4.25. So not cop it, but I would definitely bootleg it.
Okay, Mr. Nip, the floor is yours for cross-examination.
I'm pretty sure you said the drop was similar.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was. I thought Travis Scott was about to drop a couple verses or something in this draft, a feature or something. I thought Travis was all through this shit.
But Travis kind of got a lot of his swag from Cudi too. A lot of people will say that. Look at popular culture, the way music kind of plays out, and I think it's true because you see who was running with Kanye prior to Travis. You know, him and Cudi will work together, things like that. So I think it kind of all anybody within that kind of blueprint or that atmosphere, I feel like draws from each other's pockets. Like sometimes they'll go, okay, this might be a little bit more Travis-y Kanye or Travis-y Cudi versus this might be a little bit more Cudi Travis or more Cudi Kanye. I feel like they kind of borrow from each other a lot. So yeah, that ad-lib was definitely
Travis's
Swagger Jack and Travis. I'll give you that.
I don't want to say it's the 18 pack of ass, but it's but it's close to it. I don't. Yeah.
So what's your rating, man? What are you rating?
My rating. I'm if my girl got it on, I'm gonna let it rock.
Okay. What were your issues with the album then? Let's go there. Let's start there. What were your issues with it?
I know that. Well, okay. I'll be honest. I'm not a big Cudi fan. I don't like super depressed music, which he brings to I don't need that. I'm coming to my music to get, you know what I mean, for some uplift. I'm not coming to get more depressed by listening to the albums and shit. But yeah, I don't know. Cudi is a rapper, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're fucking ballers.
But sometimes you don't need it. If it's all vibing, you're good to go.
Good point. It is a vibe. Mm-hmm.
I definitely, Cudi is by far not the greatest lyricist. It's more for his delivery and kind of the space that the song puts you in is the reason I listen to Cudi more so than any kind of lyrical ability. I mean, he's not horrible with lyrics, I don't think, but
no, I wasn't. It wasn't horrible, but I mean, for it, the acclaim that I hear across people like, oh, Cudi he changed music and everybody's biting his style and blah 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 blah. It's like. I didn't feel
you didn't feel like that was apparent on the album? You didn't feel like the style that he cultivated was kind of being trending now? You didn't feel like that was displayed on the album?
My issue is I don't think that he is the person that cultivated that style. Like I think I don't want to say he jacked people's styles, but he comes from the line of like Fonte from Lil Brother and 3 Stacks and them dudes. So for people to attribute this new style to them, it's like, nah, bro. Motherfuckers been rapping and singing and rapping with real bars and singing, like real singing before this dude had this style. So I don't think that he can be crowned as, you know, the king or father, whatever they want to call this new generation of, you know, Travis Scott's and all these folks, Trippie Redd and all them.
Well, I thought it was more tending to the style of that the depression rap. Like I thought when I hear Cudi being the forefather, I think of that depression Juice WRLD, Trippie Redd, like Travis, that depression rap. That's what I always attribute when they say that he's the forefather of that style.
Oh, okay. I thought
no, that's my interpretation. I could be completely wrong there. But when I hear people say that, I
agree with both of you all because if you, like you say, look back like 3 Stacks, he would harmonize, but he would also have bars. Cudi's never known for barring people down, right? It's just more so the delivery, the overall delivery of.
I mean, each his own.
I will probably give it, if my man put it on, I guess I'm in the middle between you all. If my man put it on, I would listen. It did when it got into the depression part. And you know, that sad shit usually be my bag. I just felt like it was too much. I needed one more, like a little jolt at the end to kind of jump me back in there. So whoever's listening, you got a full review on either side of this. Speaking of just depression music, we'll jump in. I had Taylor Swift. So we'll jump right into that one. So I had Taylor Swift, and everybody knows I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. But if anybody really knows me, they know that's completely not true. My wife is, and her family is. They have group threads about when the Taylor Swift album drops. So that shows you how dedicated they are to it. So Taylor Swift came out with Evermore. It is 15 songs, an hour long. I said I sure wish it was 39 minutes, but it was an hour long. Yeah, guest stars on there from Haim, the National, Bon Iver. So I sum this up with quote the Swifties Evermore. Folklore divided the fandom like The Last Jedi. This album will divide the fandom even more. If you're into solemn, chill piano with layered vocals, this album is for you. So my best song on there, I think, which is probably Taylor Swift's best written song probably in her last 10 years of writing, is Nobody, No Crime. And I just like it because it's just an old school country song that tells a story. Basically, it's just about basically a woman that offs a dude because he's unfaithful, and how all the women in their lives help cover it up. So I thought that was pretty dope. The song I hated the most, it got to a point in the album near the bottom third where it just, every song just felt the same. But the song I would say the most was Closure. That's when I guess I hit my wit's end of like, okay, God, like, if you're going to give me one more piano beat, you know, a piano drum over some guitar, like, I'm going to pull my hair out. So Closure is my least favorite. Like, it does not, that whole, when I heard that tech intro, I'm like, okay, maybe she going to do a little something, jump into her pop back. No. She just started talking. It was the same shit. So, that was probably my least favorite. Also, my honorable mention is Gold Rush. I think Gold Rush is a really good song there as well. Going to my rating would be, honestly, it rated out at that, I labeled every song to a 3.2. So that will equal if my man put it on, I will listen. I think more or less it will be a situation that I will probably be with my wife listening to it, probably making dinner, drinking some wine. That's her vibe. So I'll probably be on it with that one. So it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It just was.
I got through about a third of the album, so I don't want to give it a rating prematurely, but there were a few songs on there that I enjoyed. Definitely the first track, I was like, oh, okay, that's not too bad. I like, I like some kind of folksy vibes in the music sometimes, especially if they're delivered well, like the instrumentation and the vocals are good. Sometimes I can get in the mood and listen to that. But I say I need to get through the rest of the project before I really give a verdict. But so far, what I heard, I liked, and that kind of leads in, like you said, maybe towards that bottom third, I might start to feel like you did with it. But so far, I was pretty optimistic.
Nip, what you got? In your exact words, people listen to this Taylor Swift shit was the words you gave to us. So.
that's what's it. Yeah, I didn't know people listen. This is I'll just put, it's not my speed. I don't know. I don't feel like I can give it a fair rating. It's just not my speed.
Ladies and gentlemen, that officially means he's first bringing this album. That means he is first bringing this album, but he's trying to be nice because you know those Taylor Swift fans that come for him.
Yeah, it's a frisbee. I can't. This shit is like hashtag salt and pepper. It's not seasoning, bro. Like,
dang. You said the ketchup is spicy.
You know, hashtag salt and pepper is not seasoning. Hashtag the ketchup is spicy. Yeah. All that. Like, I can't. Hashtag you're supposed to clap on the 2 and the 4. Like, I can't say it. I will say that the joint you were saying, that Nobody, No Crime, it was pretty good writing on that song. I did. That was the one song that I did say, okay, I'm listening to it. I'm following along. Yeah, I did bang with that.
I would give her this, and I think that's one of the notes I had on the album too. Her pen work on this album is pretty top notch. I don't know because when she went pop, people kind of started dissing her pen because it was a pop vibe, but her pen work on this album, like I can point to numerous songs where like lyrically,
she gets
it's just the music wasn't slapping. Like it just was nothing in there to catch on to and really vibe. Yeah.
It's not jamming.
So we won't spend no more time on that. Nip, what you got? What did you have?
What we gonna start? We want to start with Boldy.
Hey, it's whatever you want to start with, my man.
Let's go with Boldy. We got Boldy James, Real Bad, Boldy. 10 tracks, real nice, 29 minutes, 42 seconds. Produced by Real Bad Man. Features Mayhem Loren. Of course, the God, Stove God, ETO, Mooch, and Riggs.
Cooking it up.
Yeah, you know, once again, you know, classic coke rap. You know what I mean? I was gonna come in here with my all black with my Scully on this time to complete the transformation. But my skins got busy last night, so I had to put my.
Why we gotta bring up the Washington football team, man? Why we got like
straight from the hip, bro.
You know what? This is the last time we doing Gladiator Cypher, man. We done here. We done.
It was a good run.
What you
got? What you got? Apple cider vinegar water?
No, this is Crystal Light. You know what I'm saying? Crystal Light. You know what I mean? Light.
The Crystal.
Got to Crystal Light in a gallon.
You gotta hydrate when you drink all this liquor, baby.
You say you got the light with the whiskey. God.
Oh, that joke said, empty out this water bottle. Empty out this water gallon with that Crystal Light in there. Okay, man, go ahead, man. Tell us about that Boldy album, man. What you got on that?
I'm gonna say the theme of the album, classic Coke rap. You know what I mean? Bars, great production. I like how Boldy, the last few of his projects, he picks one producer and then names them after that producer. Like, you know, Real Bad Man, you got Real Bad Boldy. Versace Tape was the joint he had with Jay Versace. So, like, I'm really digging that. But on this album, I'm going to say that my favorite track is probably going to be Goodfoot featuring Mooch and Riggs. Yes, sir. I feel like for fans like you, it was more than just that slow. I'm talking shit over the R&B track. He gave it a little bop to it. And then the second favorite joint I had was 1,000 Pills. Excuse me, 1,000 Pills featuring Stove God. Yes, sir.
I'm calling you Crystal God going forward. Crystal God Sprinkles.
All right. He called it Crystal God Sprinkles. It is. Let me go ahead and change your handle on Zoom now.
But on the Goodfoot track, I love the AM People sample. These are the same joint that Jizza used for shadow boxing. So that's probably what pulled me in. And then I guess for lines, it's probably coming from the 1,000 Pills joint. It's kind of long, but you know, that's all I got for him. Before Mac felt it in the air, I had my youngin' squeeze the Mac, snatch the spirit out y'all. Mary is getting scary, 14 karat gold shovel when they bury you. You niggas all milk, no cereal. If it's less than 36 Cheerios, please don't hit me. I've been staying very low. You know what I mean? I bangs with it.
That's what's up.
I like that one too.
Clearly, you know. I mean, finishing low. But that was Stove God's line. You know, I gotta throw a Stove God line in there.
Yeah, he killing it. Yeah.
But altogether solid project. I'm gonna say I ain't gonna say it's a cop. I'm gonna say I'm a bootlegger.
Okay.
I'm
Chris,
a bootlegger.
you feel the same way or you differ?
Yeah, I would definitely bootleg it. I like Boldy and his kind of projects he's been releasing. I really like the one with Alchemist. He came out with that one was hard.
Yes, sir.
I didn't hear the Versace one yet, but I like this last one too. The production was solid. I like Boldy's delivery. I thought you can really kind of focus in on his bars because he's a little bit more subdued while he's spitting. So I enjoy his music. It's good riding music. You can drive all day.
No, I'm with you. I mean, I wish you would have put this on to me about Boldy before you put Versace tapes on because I'm not gonna lie to you. When I heard this, I was like, oh, okay. Like it was like, oh, well, I was like, what? This can't be the same. Like, nah, this can't be this. But nah, it was a lot. I thought it was a lot better album. I do think I'm still at if my man's put it on, I would listen. And I think the only drawback is that I still have to get used to his flow. It's no different than I remember when Ye first came out. I had to get used to Ye flow. Like I wasn't used to how his cadence was, and so I knew he was spitting, but it took me a while to get used to it. So I think even with Boldy, it's one of those things I'm going to have to listen to it, and I feel like this is going to grow. So you may ask me a week from now, and I may be where you guys are. But right now, as I said, if my man puts it on, I'll listen. Word. Chris, what you got? What was the next album you had on review?
All right, next up on the review, we had Chris Cornell. His estate just released No One Sings Like You Anymore, which is basically a 10-track cover project where Chris records some of his favorite songs that inspired him in his career.
Well, go back
Like,
for a second just for our audience, because I had to find out about Chris Cornell. Like I had no clue initially. So one, I mean, you mentioned he passed away, but what was he attached to? What band or group, or was he always solo? Or
yeah, so he was famously known as a member of Soundgarden and also Audio Slave. I kind of got hip to him through Audio Slave. That's one of my favorite bands. I really like Tom Morello, who's the guitarist for Rage Against the Machine. And Tom Morello also plays for Audio Slave. So that kind of brought me into the loop. And then I was like, wow, who's this dude singing? He's awesome. And it's Chris Cornell. And of course, unfortunately, he had his death. I want to say maybe 2017. I believe it was suicide, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's what I read too as well.
Yeah, and so he's been gone, but his estate has been releasing music. I read a article online a little bit earlier saying I think his wife or someone close to him, there was a woman was saying that this is kind of one of her most cherished projects because the songs that he covered were a lot of the songs that really inspired him and he really enjoyed to listen to. It kind of helped inspire him along his career. So it's cool, I guess, for her to hear his voice on these tracks that really brought him a lot of joy. So overall, well, before I get into that, let's get into the favorite track. So that had to be To Be Treated Right. Yeah, so that's definitely that Western bag for sure. Tumbleweeds and pipe tobacco galore. Getting into the least favorite track, it actually was the very first track on there. And this was before I realized this was a cover project because I wasn't familiar with the song Get It While You Can. So when it came on, I'm like, oh man, I hope they didn't do Chris like this because I didn't like the first track at all. But I'll let you. Yeah, so that one wasn't my favorite. But fun fact too, he actually played all the instruments on the album, which is pretty cool.
That's dope.
Yeah. But just getting into my review, I feel like this was definitely a touching project. It featured Chris Cornell's unique voice, who unfortunately is gone way too soon. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the first track, but after you get past, I think the first one or two, it really starts to get into that groove in his bag. He kind of flexes his voice in different ways on the different songs. Like, I know he's got that one track by Prince. I think, who sung that? Was it Sinead O'Connor? Nothing Compares to You. I think he wrote that for her or something like that along those lines.
So. I think you're right on that one. I know it was one of the people that Prince wrote for.
Yeah, so that was a great song too. You kind of hear his take on that version, but to me, that song "To Be Treated Right," that whole Western vibe, it kind of brought glimpses of some of his work on Audio Slave. While it wasn't as hard rock, you kind of get that that edge to it, like I'm out in the desert somewhere and there's some tumbleweeds going around. I'm in a horse-drawn buggy and just vibing to nature and everything like that. I definitely got some heavy Western vibes from that song. And I would say overall, I enjoyed the project. I'm a Chris Cornell fan for sure. I definitely recommend, if you're not familiar with his Soundgarden or Audio Slave projects, you go back and listen because they still hold up today, especially that first Audio Slave album. And if you're fans of those bands, I would definitely recommend that you listen to this project. While it doesn't come in quite as hard, because a lot of those, like I said, are hard rock albums, you definitely can find something to latch on to through Chris Cornell's voice and his delivery on a lot of these different titles on the project. So overall, I have to give this a bootleg for sure. I would give it a solid 4.
Okay, yes, and it was Sinead O'Connor that Prince wrote Nothing Compares to You for. Nip, did you get a chance to listen to it? Any thoughts?
I did listen to it. Yeah, I didn't do all the research of knowing Buddy's story. I was about to come in here with crazy disrespect.
Oh no, we definitely.
Hey, keep that same energy. Keep that same energy. He gone now. We can't know you can do with it now.
Yeah, well, I was coming in with the hashtag White Soul is dead. I had to go wash my ears out with some Hall & Notes. But nah, it was a solid drink. I did like the first, I agree with you. The first drink was like the first track I heard. I was like, oh, why are we listening to this shit? Like, yeah, I was like, White Soul is dead. This is horrible. But after the second and third track, I was like, all right, I can. I'm not gonna say I can put it on while I'm with my circle. But if I'm, what I mean, in the crib, watching dishes, cleaning up some shit, if it comes on, I'm gonna let it rock.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna throw it out. I'm not gonna say it's a frisbee joint. So I guess I had to put it on in between if my girl put it on and if my man's put it on. I guess that's like a solid like 2.5 or something like that.
Yeah, he did that because homeboy dead. That's why he did that. I'll admit that first song threw me through a loop, and I will say this: that's something with as reviewing these albums, we all got to be kind of conscious of where we listen to the albums at. I will admit, I put this on right after I listened to the Swift album. So you got to imagine where I'm going to going next. I was over it.
Depressed.
Oh my God! By the time Chris Cornell was over, I was like, "Look here, man. I wanted to end this whole podcast. I was like, nah, I'm good, man. Like, I'm out here about to, yeah. Oh, come on. I had a rope ready and everything. Nah, off to the side.
Damn.
I'm a frisbee this one, but because you guys are so much higher, I will listen to it again when my palate's clean. But right now, I'm gonna have to go with a frisbee on it. Respect to his estate. Hopefully, that it does well. They get paid. They get provided for. But this ain't something I will ever go back to. Like, it makes you want to forget that he was even with Audio Slave and forget that he was with SoundCloud because it just wasn't it for me, man. I couldn't do it, man. For Chris, is a local guy, but for Nip, I think it's maybe your first experience with him. Who did you have this time, Nip?
With I don't know how to pronounce it. How is this? Is this JPEGMafia?
Mafia.
Mafia. I wrote that shit.
Yeah.
Okay, Mafia. I don't. Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be another fun one.
Yeah. Yeah. Came in. EP, I guess is the name of the EP or the album.
Yeah, EP is the name of the EP.
EP, okay. EP exclamation. 9 tracks, 26 minutes, 24 seconds. I appreciated that. You know what I mean? I like my trash compacted. Got produced by JPEGMafia. Features Denzel Curry and Tommy Genesis. Favorite track I guess would have to be Bald, the remix with Denzel Curry.
Yeah.
That's a slap on the album.
Ooh, can't compare me to Jesus because he ain't no. All right, I love that. But go ahead.
Be still, because that still's revolver. Yeah.
Yeah, side note, that Denzel Curry album, I think a couple years ago, that joint was fire.
Yeah,
I haven't heard it.
Denzel
Go
always
back and
puts out
listen.
good projects. Yeah, Denzel. I ain't heard of that bad project from Denzel ever. So.
Yeah. So the Covered in Money joint, like it started off, and I was like, "Oh, this is weird. I like weird music. I like weird syncopation, timing, and all that cool shit." I'm like, "All right, I'm banging with it." And then they switched up on me halfway through the song, and I threw that shit in the trash. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. But the beginning of Covered in Money is hard, and then they switched it up. It got weird. I couldn't bang with it. Tracks that I did not fully appreciate. You can start. You can start
it up around here.
You can start at Cutie Pie, run that shit down. So you give them some Cutie Pie. Everything after that, yeah. Go to the factor.
You don't like that joint, Nip?
Nah, it stinks.
Okay. Continue your review.
You know, saying that stinks, it just like stings so much more than like custom blood.
Continue your review.
I mean, that's all I got. It wasn't. I guess I'm gonna give it a 1.5 just because of the Ball remix. That shit was jamming. So I can't frisbee it. Like that shit was jamming. And in the beginning of Covered in Money, like I just love like that shit reminded me of some like Sly Stone, In Time. Like it was just musically that shit was hard when it started. And I really appreciated it. So yeah, I give it a 1.5. Everything else, yeah, he can. Yeah, and then the content, Buddy, I don't know if Buddy. Now I don't want to go too far. With
Yeah, no, I like that. I see what you're saying. I do like that. That's
yes, sir.
That's kind of raw. So you gave it a 1.5. So what do you? My girl put it on, I would listen, or you lean into Frisbee?
Yeah, if my girl put it on, I will listen. And if it ain't covered in money or ball remix, I'm throwing that shit out the window. So just keep those. Just keep those.
So we feel like we're gonna have a huge dissension here from Chris, because I feel like this show, you guys been in a lot of odds now. You two, y'all been in a little, been banging heads a little bit here this show. So, Chris, go ahead, take the floor.
No, I'll say this: JPEGMafia, he's definitely kind of like out there as far as like content and his approach to a lot of the songs. Like some songs is not gonna have a chorus. Some songs he's gonna change up the entire song in the middle or the first third of the song. The rest of it will be different. But that's kind of why I like listening to his music. You never know what you're gonna get. You don't know what the subject matter you're gonna get. Like I said, sometimes he calls himself Peggy, so I guess he's got an alter ego. But I like people who dare to be themselves sometimes, and especially on wax. Like, you know, that lives forever. So you gotta live and die by what you say on these records, and I feel like he kind of just puts himself out there. He doesn't really care, so that's why I like the music. Now, this particular project, I probably would give it a 3. So if a man's had it on, I'd probably listen to it, and that's mainly because of the length. I feel like on his last album, I really enjoyed that because it was a much longer project, so he could kind of get into multiple bags but really flesh them out. Like this EP, which of course is an extended play, he kind of touched on some of the different lanes he goes in, so you might not have gotten the ability to or a chance to kind of appreciate some of the talent therein. But overall, I say it was a solid project.
Y'all not gonna get me. Yeah, give me to got these LGBTQ niggas, man. Listen, Buddy, I don't know. They talk about some. I don't know what type time Buddy was doing. But this lyrical content is not for me. That just it ain't. Man. It ain't my speed. It ain't Buddy. I don't know what Buddy wanna do in his life. I'm cool. Yeah.
I'm gonna ride with Chris.
Some surprises. When you listen to the album, folks, you'll know what surprise I'm talking about. Y'all not finna get me canceled before folks even.
Oh, Christmas?
I'm cool, but yeah, Buddy. Yeah, I don't know if Buddy, what team he playing on. If he, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know where he going with it.
I'm gonna go with Chris. I think if my man's put it on, I would listen. Like I thought it was alright, and I've listened to one of the albums from JPEGMafia before. I can't think which one it was, but anyway, so I kind of knew what I was walking myself into. But if I did not know, I can see why Nip is feeling the way he's feeling. So yeah, I mean, I like the way Nip he played that one pretty cool. So shout out to you on that one. Real quick, we're going to jump into Jack Harlow. I had to review Jack Harlow. That's what they all say. This is 15 songs, 42 minutes and 36 seconds. He had Little Baby, Big Sean, Chris Brown, Adam Levine, Static Major, Bryson Tiller, Lil Baby, Tory Lanez, Lil Wayne. My sum of this is this the children of Drake? If this is that, Jack does the best impersonation of Drake I've seen in a long time, and if this album feels like a lot of people are backing this kid, as you saw through just the list of features, if that album feels like how those features feel, like it's a lot of people backing him. My favorite song on there is the single. I guess it's probably the single "What's Poppin'," that and the remix, but I'll do the original one first. So I do like that one. The other one I liked on here was Route 66. I like that. I just like the cadence that he goes on that flow with that. My worst song was Same Guy. I'm not even going to embarrass anybody by playing that. It is what it is. Honestly enough, when I did my rankings of the songs, I came out to a 3.8, which rounding up would be, a bootleg. I'm going to round it down because I felt like this album is supposed to make me feel the way that why I rated that way. As you just heard from the beats, the production's good. He lyrically isn't terrible, but he's not great either. He's good enough. And then the features, like Lil Wayne on the What's Poppin' remix, Wayne spasses on that, which you
Yeah.
expect from Wayne, but it's like moments like that that's like, okay, like I can't make this any worse when you got a verse like that from Wayne. Right. You hit it on the head. It's a cheat code, absolutely. Even I think the best verse I had on there was, I brought a gang to the party with me, 5 white boys, but we not in sync. Like, that's cool to me. Like, all right, you gonna play into the fact that you white. And he does hit on that. I guess he pulls a Drake on me. He hits close enough to being personal, but not too personal that we care. Like, he talks about being, I think it's a song called Baxter Avenue, where he talks about being white and his crew being black and how that plays, but never nothing really deep. It's just enough to rhyme some words together. And I feel like this is going to be Post Malone Part 2. I think in 4 years, this dude going to tell us he a rock star, not a rapper no more. And I just feel it. Like, what's popping, it feels like White Iverson to me. It feels like that song that you just going to groove to. And yeah. So I'm going to go and put it. If my man's put it on, I will listen. But I will admit my ranking by song had it closer to a bootleg. So anybody else listen to it? Or let's start with you, Chris, if you got a chance to listen to. Any thoughts on it?
I definitely heard the singles, the Tyler Hero and the What's Poppin' and the What's Poppin' remix. And now that you bring up that Drake comparison, like in my head, I was trying to lay what Drake would sound like saying those same lyrics, and it was spot on almost. So I can definitely agree with those. But from what I've heard so far from Jack Harlow, I'm not hating on it for sure. I think it's a project I would definitely go back to listen throughout, front to back, and really give a solid opinion on it. But I'm interested to see kind of how he hones his craft going forward. And like you said, kind of get more into a more personal bag, and but not so much that vapid bag that Drake gets into, like, oh, let me say a random woman's name on a track from some restaurant in another state. Like, that's fake personal. Like, tell me, what you're dealing with. You're new, you're young in the industry. I'm sure things is hectic. You're probably trying to do a family amidst all this stuff, like all that kind of stuff. So I like when rappers start to get into those bags and flex their lyrical ability while kind of explaining their situation. So hopefully he can do a little bit more of that on his next run through. But I'm gonna definitely go and give the rest of the project a listen.
Nip, any thoughts to get a chance to listen to it?
I'm gonna go back. I didn't know that I heard a song off there that was popping right now, but I won't give it a rate. Now it wouldn't be fair for me because I didn't listen to the entire project. Yeah, if it's 15 tracks of Drake Light,
it is, and you can feel the machines behind him, just like Drake. The machine behind this kid, like, it wasn't a bad beat in sight on this album. Like,
I'm not a fan of that type of music. You do what you do. People like it. Get the ladies pop. I mean, if I'm in the club and it comes on, I'm definitely not gonna be mad because the girlies gonna be jumping. But that shit gets no play in my ride. Like, you put that shit on my ride, you and that CD can get the fuck out of my car.
Go out like Jazzy Jeff out the moving car.
To most people's favorite segment of our show. Hey, what are you listening to? We are going to start with Chris. Hey, Chris, what are you listening to?
Yo, I'm listening to Kid Cudi's old projects. I like this album so much, I decided to go back to the other Man on the Moon projects, the first one and also the second one. On his first Man on the Moon, I really like the song Higher, which is a great track.
All right.
And then
you listen to the second one too, right?
Yeah. On the second one, Man on the Moon project, I like the song Hey Mr. Rager. That kind of puts me. That's a good song. I remember listening to that a lot. Yeah, so that's what I'm listening to right now.
Okay, he drops back in the Kid Cudi bag. I was saying, hey Jason, what are you listening to? I went back and ventured back because I think last week Tiffany Nicole was saying she was listening to the Ray album and she put me on Euphoric Sad Songs. It made me think about going back and listening to the Reyez album. So I'm gonna do Imported featuring Black. Yes, I just think her album was something. Actually, she has a song with Eminem on her album called Coffin that's pretty good too. But the whole album is good. I like the whole album, but yeah, so check out Jessie Reyez if you get a chance. I think that was dope.
That joint is jam. I'm definitely getting handsy with somebody's mama in the club with that one.
Hey, look here, bro. When she hit him with the you ain't he in love with somebody else. Get over them by getting under me. I was like, okay, we sold. We ain't gotta do that. we ain't gotta say no more. All right, hey, Nip, what are you listening to?
I must switch it up on y'all again. No
here we go. I'm actually excited
called,
about your switch up.
Me too.
No, I like this song, so I'm excited.
joint called Maybe Not by Souly Head and Mac Ayers.
So we love you guys. Thank you for listening to the Gladiator podcast. We love you guys. We respect. Hopefully you respect our music opinions. If not, we'll still be back here next week reviewing albums itself. You can always comment below in Facebook, on YouTube, or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Comment. Tell us you with it, you're not with it, you love an album, you hate an album you want us to review. You can also email us at hcannon, C, the letter C, so letter H, Cannon, the letter C, at gmail.com if you want to leave your requests or your thoughts on the albums we reviewed there. But again, please, please, please join the circus by following and subscribing us. We're Head Cannon Circus everywhere: Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and we are on Instagram as well. So again, we thank you all so much. To my lovely, lovely reviewers, any final closing words? Anything, Chris?
No, man, everybody stay safe as we heading towards this holiday season. Still in the midst of the pandemic. Wash your hands, wear your mask. Don't be an ass.
Hey, I like that. And my man Nip, any final words?
Coming off that last little joint, the song right there, I'm gonna have to say White Soul Ain't Dead.
White Soul ain't dead. These niggas just scared.
That's it.
Chris Cornell almost took him away. Chris Cornell almost ruined his life. Like, White Soul, no. Also, somebody had an interesting idea, and I think I'm gonna try to do it. I'm gonna try to do it maybe starting next week. Making a playlist for Gladiator Cypher podcast. And right now, because I have access to Spotify, but I think, Nip, you may got access to Tidal or something, or yeah, making a playlist for all the songs when we review albums or songs that we like, putting them into the playlist so that every week we update it so that they can get, for the places that don't allow us to play the samples, they can go check it out there. So we'll work that out with everybody, guys, and I think that's a great idea. Put the songs that we like on the playlist so you get a little bit of action and see if that's something, the album that you want to listen to yourself. But other than that, guys, man, I appreciate it as always. We will see you all next week with the Gladiator Cypher podcast. And we out. Peace.
This is a Head